Protagonist of this tale believes that the whole childhood friends fall in love thing is totally overrated. It's always about girls suddenly revealing they've been in love with the guy forever, acting like they know him better than anyone else. He's exhausted by that because, let's be real, life isn't a rom-com. Still, things could totally take a turn. He sneezes from the cold wind coming in through the window. Meet Sakai Yonosuke, who yells at Shio to quit sneaking in through the window. What he doesn't realize is that she's right next to him, clinging on. She's all snuggled up, hugging him tightly while he's freaking out over what's happening. Without hesitation, she pulls him in, pressing her soft curves against him. This is just how they always are. Right after this, he figures there's no way a cheesy rom-com moment will actually happen. Just when she's about to kiss him, he clamps his hand over her mouth, telling her not to get carried away. Minamo Shio is his childhood buddy. She calls him a pervert and asks why he's even here, but it's his room. Shio calls him out for not fixing the window lock. They've been hanging out together forever. As she's about to leave, she struts out, showing off her underwear. He tries hard not to stare and shouts after her, saying that her craziness is on full display. That's just how they roll. That's why he can't ever see her as anything other than a friend. While getting ready for school, he's totally flustered, his heart racing as he can't shake how awkwardly intense it feels. It's hard to ignore how vulnerable she seems, even though they've known each other forever. She calls out to Ayu, telling him to hurry up and gives him a few playful nudges as he comes out. Meanwhile, he can't help but notice how much she's grown up, especially in certain ways. He feels unsure, but she suddenly asks if they're still childhood friends. At the same time, Yonosuke can't shake the feeling that she has no clue about his real feelings. It's like he's the only one secretly looking at her in a pervy way, something he definitely doesn't want her to find out. Meanwhile, from Shio's perspective, she's trying hard to get him to notice her, even leaning on him with her curves. The thing is, he's never really treated her like a girl. Whenever she gets all girly and flirty, he keeps his cool. He tries to tell her she's being a pain, but deep down he has no idea how much effort she's putting in, just to make him blush. She's completely set on doing that. Then, out of nowhere, her foot slips and they both fall, landing in a pretty awkward position. She's completely flustered. It turns out she was using a secret move she called the certified rom-com moment. She asks if he's okay, but he just goes for it. Meanwhile, she's having a meltdown. She actually read the rom-com books he owns and practiced this moment. He knows she's into that kind of stuff. Confused and trying to act cool, he asks if it's a problem that he touched her. She's sweating like crazy, and he casually mentions that she's as clumsy as ever, leaving her stunned that he's acting like it's no big deal. Acting chill, he tells her to get up since they're going to be late. She grabs him and starts another one of her secret moves called Innocent Girl, claiming she thinks she sprained her leg. With a playful tone, she insists he shouldn't leave her behind. Her plan totally flops when he immediately pulls out a first aid kit and tells her to show him her leg for bandages. Once they finish up, he decides to swing by the infirmary. In the meantime, she asks why he's so prepared for this kind of thing. Acting casual, he replies it's because she has a knack for getting into wild situations. She's all flustered, trying to manage the butterflies in her stomach. Her technique doesn't work again. She asks him to wait and grabs his hand instead, leaving him stunned and blushing. Shio claims he'd throw a fit if she didn't pull him along, a throwback to their childhood. Then she pretends her foot still hurts and says having someone to support her would be great. It's always awkward between them, even though it seems like something romantic is brewing. But nothing ever really changes. She's quietly panicking about what people might think if they keep up this weird hand-holding routine, while he pretends to be chill but is internally screaming. They're holding hands tightly, both fighting against the feelings bubbling up between them. Yonosuke's unsure if it's really okay to be this close. His palms are slick with sweat, their hands trembling together. He can't stop thinking about the way her fingers keep moving, tracing tiny sparks across his skin. He realizes that if she keeps this up, things might actually get serious. Hayu has a feeling they're headed for a rom-com moment. Then, out of nowhere, a girl behind them screams, completely catching them off guard. They turn to see it's Akari, and she's super excited about what she just saw. She can't wait to snap a picture and send it to his mom because she thinks it's hilarious. She's so shocked that she drops her bag. He rushes over to pick it up, trying to tell her to chill, but she yells at him not to touch it. She calls him out, saying he's pressuring Shio into something creepy because Shio looks uncomfortable. Acting like it's her duty as his childhood friend, she says she's ready to give him a serious talking to, calling him a horny monkey. Hearing that, he's completely taken aback and fires back, asking how she can call him that. Just as he tries to stop her, his hands accidentally land in a sensitive spot and he immediately gets slapped. Shio tries to call out to Akari, placing the blame on him, but he jumps in, saying it was Shio who grabbed him first. That stuns both of them. When Akari hears this, she turns around and coldly asks if they're both idiots. Then she walks off, brushing them aside. Right after that, Shio's in disbelief, realizing she was the only one who get excited about it. Meanwhile, he thinks to himself that he knew it really didn't mean anything to Shio. He can't shake off Akari's reaction and worries that if they had kept holding hands, his pervy side would have come out. He imagines both girls roasting him for checking out his childhood friend like that and starts sweating. It's such a mess that he thinks he'd totally be dead in the situation. With a red face, he decides there's no way he'll ever get into a rom-com with his childhood friend. Meanwhile, Akari walks away for a bit, then plops down on the floor, her hands shaking. Out of nowhere, she pulls out a childhood photo with him and starts freaking out, feeling guilty for getting ahead of him. She realizes she has to make a move, or else they might actually start dating for real. She bangs her head, wondering why she keeps being so nasty to him, but she can't shake the fact that he acts like a total perv and even touched her. She thinks she'll never let that slide and is determined to make him own up to it. Now, the three of them are stuck in this love triangle, with Akari trying to keep her cool and play it casual, even though deep down she totally likes him, while he thinks no one will ever figure out what he really feels. Meanwhile, Shio is playing a completely different game, trying to win his heart for real, and she's in it for the long haul. So in this whole mess, they'll probably just stay childhood friends forever. At school, Akari calls Ayu a total creep. She can't believe he'd do something like that. He shoots back that it's his style, and since she's his childhood friend, she freaks out about looking like the biggest idiot ever if he buys the same thing. But he's been into this since day one at school and just casually calls her lame too. Hearing that makes her furious, and he's not budging either. Shio tries to step in and calm them down, but they're going at it like cats and dogs. She tells Akari to just get along since they're stuck sitting next to each other, but Akari's like, no way, she doesn't want to be buddy-buddy with a creep. Someone reminds Shio about her class rep duties, and before she takes off, she warns both of them not to fight. Akari says she'd totally be friends if he'd just apologize, but our guy feels the same way too. He'd be cool if she were actually nice. He really feels for Shio though, because it seems like there's no way they'll ever get along. He thinks it's too late to be honest with her and smacks his head, wondering why he's still acting like this. They used to be inseparable as kids, and now it feels like she doesn't even see him as a friend anymore. He wonders if he'll just let things stay awkward while they're both at the same school. Finally, he nervously mentions that the drink's good, even though he's totally flustered. She gives him a look, smirks, and asks what he just said. He starts panicking, trying to play it cool, but now it's just super embarrassing for him. Meanwhile, Akari's flustered too, wondering who the real idiot is. All she wants is for him to notice her, so she's been trying to look stylish. Took the same exam to get into the school and even bought the same stuff to catch his eye for a second. She's sure she's not being unreasonable, especially since he didn't even look at her. Maybe she could give him a shot. If he wants to make things better between them, she's cool with that. Then they both accidentally pop open their drink bottles at the same time, which gets their attention. They start bickering about who's copying whom. When Yonosuke checks his bottle, he realizes it's not empty like he thought. Suddenly, it hits him. He yells at Akari because she's actually downing his drink, and her face goes all red. Once she finishes, she freaks out, thinking it's some kind of indirect kiss. She blushes like crazy while he tries to explain that he mixed things up and forgot. Akari, now angry, catches him off guard. She tells him not to say he's worried about their indirect kiss or whatever. She points out that his face is red too, teasing him about being a cherry boy, which makes him even more nervous. She's kind of annoyed he's acting so casual while she's the one all fluttery about it. He tries to turn the tables, mentioning that big talk is coming from her, and he thinks she was obviously taken aback when he brought it up. Hearing this, she's completely shocked, her face totally red. Trying to play it cool, she thinks even normal kisses are child's play to her, and that she's just taken aback by a disgusting virgin like him. He also mentions that kissing is just toddler's play to him. That totally catches both of them off guard. They pause for a moment, and Akari laughs, asking if he's trying to act tough. Inside, she's super nervous and flustered, but she says it's all pretty lame. To prove himself, he insists he's not lying, saying his kisses are out of this world. She challenges him, asking if he can really back it up since he makes such big claims. He awkwardly replies that she'd have to see it to believe it. She gets all excited and tells him to do it now, but then she freezes. realizing what she just said. They end up in a corner of the school, both feeling totally awkward about the whole situation. She urges him to hurry because someone might spot them. She's unsure if he's actually going to go along with this. Meanwhile, he's nervous and tells her to chill. Noticing she's shaking, he asks if she's okay, but she pretends it's just some battle tingles. He really wants to know if she's done this before, but she doesn't want to look weak in front of him. Finally, he admits the truth. He lied, and he knows she's figured out he's never kissed anyone. That totally surprises her. He apologizes for ruining the fun and asks her not to laugh at him. She asks if it's his first time, and he's totally nervous and flustered. He thought she couldn't stand him and that they didn't vibe, but now he's starting to wonder if they're about to be in a rom-com. Just when it looks like they're about to kiss, Shio pops in, totally ruining the moment by asking what they're up to. Seeing her makes them both freak out. She calls out to him, raising her hand like she's about to smack him. But in rom-coms, not every love triangle plays out nicely. Instead, she just brushes some dust off his face and asks why he's being such a dummy. Then she turns to Akari and asks what they were doing. Out of nowhere, Akari slips and falls, throwing a wrench in the whole vibe. Shio quickly covers his eyes, saying Akari acts like she's all grown up, but is still the same Akari he remembers. Fed up, she ends up punching him right in the gut. This is why childhood friends don't usually end up in rom-coms. Shio thought they were about to kiss, but everything just gets tangled. Now, Shio realizes she can't let her guard down around Akari. Minamo Shio-chan's super lively, cute, and kind of big. Then there's Hyodoshi Akari, who's really pretty and has great style. Yonosuke's friends can't believe he's got two awesome girls like them in his life. They start teasing him since they're all childhood friends, but to him, childhood friends are just people who live nearby. Nothing more. His buddies even bet he could catch a glimpse of them changing through their window, but he denies it. Suddenly, Shio rushes over, all excited, calling out to him. He shouts back at his friends, insisting he never thinks of his childhood pals as girls. Shio freezes for a moment, and noticing her, Yonosuke gets anxious. He stumbles over his words, but internally reflects that's how it's always been for them. Right after, she clings to him, freaking out his friends and mentions they've always been together anyway. Just like always, she keeps rubbing herself against him, and mentions that she needs help with her homework. He tries telling her to chill with the clinging at school, but she just hops right onto his lap like it's no big deal, totally catching him off guard. He's baffled that her whole bakery situation is now sitting right on him. Confused, classmates suggest that she sit in her own seat. For her, though, this won't take long. He's freaking out because it feels wrong, and she's bugging him. But he can't deny he kind of likes it. Lost in thought, he accidentally lets out his sound, catching Shio's and his friend's attention. When Yonosuke sees her reaction, he starts to wonder if she figured out he was looking at her in a way he shouldn't be. Someone tells her to back off from the creep, but she just laughs it off. She says she isn't worried about her and AU. They've always been this way. Leaning into him, she asks if that's true. He panics but wishes she'd stop giving him those innocent eyes. Trying to act cool, he tells her to just get on with it and be quick about it. She's totally flustered because she thinks it's her chance to go all in. Turns out his sweet spot is his lap, so she leans in harder. He's completely losing it. At the same time, she's apologizing, saying she needs to find a better position, but honestly, she's having a blast. She decides to keep the pressure on because she's determined to see him crack a smile. That's when Akari chimes in, reminding them they're both in high school, which makes things pretty awkward for him. Shio tries to say she just needs help with her homework, and Akari jumps in, saying she can copy it anywhere else. That catches both Shio and him off guard. Akari seems like the voice of reason here, but it looks like the fun might be wrapping up. Shio insists that it's fine and tries to explain to Akari that this is just how she and AU are, which leaves Akari totally speechless. Realizing what's going on, Akari tells Shio to move over because she's got her own plans. Out of nowhere, she plops her whole bakery onto his other lap. Now everything is literally piled on him, and he's freaking out. The whole class is in shock, watching this epic scene unfold. Our guy is taking down two angels, and then Akari pops in with a random thought that she totally forgot about her homework. She figures if she gets it done too, they won't be in hot water together. Meanwhile, our guy's looking all tough, but inside he's thinking they have no clue what he's really feeling. At that moment, Akari starts to get these weird tingles. When our guy calls her name, she tells him to stop moving. Inside, she's completely blushing because every little move he makes drives her wild. She can't get over how warm he feels, and she's super aware of his touch. Akari's muses that if anyone's chill about this, then Shio probably doesn't like him that way. But then there's Shio who's thinking about Akari too. She always calls him creepy and gross, yet here she is, totally not writing anything down in class. Shio starts to think there's no way Akari is actually flirting with him like that. Determined not to lose, she sets her mind on catching his attention first. Their little competition kicks off, and he's really starting to freak out because he can't handle it all. He calls out to both of them, and when they turn to look at him, he's sweating like crazy, heart racing. With his hands around their waist, he tries to push both of them away because he's had enough. But, oops, his hands end up on their soft sides, which feels kind of nice for a second. Shio asks if he's mad, but he shakes his head. Keeping it low-key, he says he just needs to go to the bathroom. As he heads out, both girls are left speechless. Shio is determined to make him feel butterflies next time, while Akari can't shake off the warm feelings from earlier. Meanwhile, our guy is just trying to keep it together while heading straight to the toilet to let it all out, totally buzzing from the whole situation. The scene shifts to Yonosuke on a packed bus. He can't believe how many people are out on a day like this. He accidentally bumps into a girl and quickly apologizes, but she's totally chill about it. Turns out she's actually pretty cool. Being the kind of guy he is, he feels like he should look out for her. Then she turns around and, surprise, it's Shio. She lights up when she sees him, and mentions they should have asked Akari to join them as well. He's taken aback but plays it cool since they're both heading to the same bakery with the sale going on. In the tight space of the bus, they end up kind of clinging to each other, both super awkward. He tells her not to hold on to him, but she can't help it. Of course, he sneaks a glance at her curves, and his face goes bright red when he realizes they're basically hugging. He tries to chill out, but she can tell he's fidgety. She leans in and whispers, asking what's up since he's breathing so hard. She wonders if he's feeling car sick and thinks she can help. Gently, she starts touching his ears. She gives him a little massage, thinking it'll help with his car sickness since it usually does. He's super hesitant, but she asks if it feels nice. Inside, he's anxious, worrying that if she keeps this up, she'll notice how fast his heart is racing. Then the bus hits a bump, and he instinctively grabs her, completely catching her off guard. Shio looks up at him, says she feels kinda sick too, asking if she can lean on him until they get there. He figures this is better than staring into her eyes all the time, so he lets her. He keeps telling himself she's just his childhood friend, but his heart is racing like crazy. Realizing this, he quickly pulls back. Her face is red, and he notices tears in her eyes. He calls out to her, but she hesitates and stumbles over her words. He's just as confused. Then he decides they should get off at the next stop and informs her. Shio looks confused, saying the bakery is still far away, but he already knows that. Plus, he can tell she's holding back, so he calls her out on it. Flustered, she asks what he means. He grabs a soda can from a vending machine nearby and hands it to her. She freezes for a second, then takes it, looking confused and surprised. Yonosuke figures she got car sick. He remembers she's been sensitive to it since she was a kid and that cola usually helps. Even though she's clumsy and awkward, she thanks him anyway. He thinks it's funny how rom-com moments never really happen between childhood friends. Then, out of nowhere, she leans on his shoulder, saying it'll help her feel better. He tries to play it cool and says sure, but inside he's a nervous wreck. He convinces his mind to feel emptiness and nothingness. The next day, it's pouring rain, and our guy decides to take a shortcut. Just as he rounds the corner, he sees something wild. Akari is taking off her soaked stockings. She freezes when she sees him, loses her balance, and tumbles, giving him another view of the whole bakery scene. She yells at him not to stare, calling him a pervy monkey. He bolts, wondering what she's doing there, but then hesitates and starts to think twice. Meanwhile, she's in a bad spot, so he doubles back and holds his umbrella over her. She's without one, so he tells her to get under it. This embarrasses her. She asks if he really thinks she'd be cool accepting help from a monkey in heat. Still, she goes along with it since he's insistent. They walk side by side under the umbrella, and even though they've been friends since childhood, he starts feeling the awkwardness of the moment. He suddenly notices she looks more grown-up now. She calls out saying he's walking too fast and nudges him to lower the umbrella since the rain is getting in her face. He thinks she must really hate this and feels annoyed to be stuck with him. She tells him not to stare at her and acts nonchalant. He remembers how cute she used to be as a kid. Beneath that annoyed look, she actually has a huge crush on him. As they share the umbrella, she can't shake the feeling that he's always been a bit mean to her. Even though he's being nice now, she's not ready to forgive him for those embarrassing moments when he saw her in less than great clothes. He wears a grumpy expression, and when he doesn't notice her looking at him, she suddenly grabs him, urging him to get closer and calls him a dummy. He's confused. Then she pulls out a handkerchief, telling him to use it. He's taken aback but follows her instructions, wiping some dirt off her. She's shocked and demands to know what he thinks he's doing. He asks where she wants him to wipe, which makes her fume. She means her shoulder. She points out how clueless he is. She tells him to hold the umbrella, and as he hands it over, their hands brush. That little touch makes them both blush, and he claims it was bound to happen. She agrees. He starts wondering why she's acting so weird. He tells her to hold the umbrella lower since she's still getting wet, and she mentions how he used to be so much smaller than her. She jokes about maybe whacking him with the umbrella because of his big head. He's touched and asks why she's suddenly being so nice. Then a car zooms past, splashing water all over them. He quickly pulls her close to keep her from getting soaked, but he ends up drenched himself. She's no better, totally wet and looking a bit flirty. He apologizes, she thanks him, and her cheeks are flushed. He blushes too, thinking about how awkward things have been between them. Trying to act chill, he says he's glad they could walk together. She looks confused, then steps back and realizes her blouse is see-through. She flips out, accusing him of doing it on purpose, calling him a horny monkey. He sighs, convinced that rom-coms never really happen with childhood friends. Shio is chilling at home with a mountain of snacks and sweets. She definitely went overboard because of the sale. Not sure if she can finish it all, she decides to step outside and relax in the yard. Sliding open the window, she notices Ayu's place across the street is empty. Then she spots Akari in her room and can't resist rushing over to her window, eager to surprise her. Akari is mumbling to herself, panicking over what to do. She can't believe Ayu can't just be honest while she stares at his picture on her phone. All she wants is things to go back to how they used to be. Then she sees Shio peeking through the window. Flushed, she panics and tells Shio not to look. But it's too late. Shio has already seen everything. She quickly apologizes, then brightens up and suggests a sweet party together. Akari goes along, and they set up a table to dig into the treats. Shio muses about Ayu's pic and wonders if it was really him. Akari snaps her out of her thoughts, insisting not to get the wrong idea. She doesn't like him. She points out that he's rude, blunt, and a total jerk. But sometimes he can be nice. Shio studies her face. Does she really not like him at all? Akari quickly denies it. Shio reminds her she wanted to stay friends with him. But Akari plays it cool. Just childhood friends. And only if he's into it too. Shio teases that Ayu isn't exactly straightforward, and jokes they could have bonded more if he were gentler. The thought makes Akari's cheeks turn bright red, and she pretends to be grossed out. Changing the subject, she pulls up a funny video on her phone. But her search history is questionable. Both girls are stunned, and accidentally Akari smacks her phone against Shio's head. She apologizes, but Shio can't stop thinking about it, trying not to jump to conclusions. As Akari fetches an ice pack, old albums tumble out, filled with childhood photos of her and Ayu. Shio asks what they are, and Akari replies he always jumped in front of the camera. When Shio asks why she printed them, Akari admits she didn't want to waste them and thought of giving them to her aunt. Shio pieces things together, anxious about asking directly. But since they promised not to keep secrets as kids, she finally asks how Akari feels about Ayu. Both hearts race. Akari, sweating, expresses that she hates him, but her flushed face betrays her. She starts venting. He's rude, never notices when they dress up, and doesn't see them as actual women. Shio fires back, recalling how he always treats her like a kid, like when he gave her a dinosaur plushie in 9th grade. Akari agrees, laughing. They crack up together, even though they're into the same guy, enjoying the moment. Outside, Yonosuke is overhearing everything. He had no idea they felt that way. He quietly decides to hand back the handkerchief, as if he didn't hear anything. Then he opens the door to ask if they're okay, and freezes. They're in the middle of changing. Akari smacks him in frustration, leading Shio to wonder if Akarin's claims about not liking him are true. On his day off, Yonosuke throws on a hat and glasses to stay under the radar. He grabs some manga in a shop and ducks into a corner to check it out. It's How Can My Childhood Friend Be This Cute? Part of his rom-com collection. He enjoys imagining friend-to-lover stories, but knows it won't happen to him. Just as he's about to leave, he almost bumps into Shio and Akari. Startled, he hides the manga under his shirt, thinking his disguise will keep him unnoticed. They spot him immediately, teasing his hat and sunglasses. He pretends to be someone else, but Akari snatches his sunglasses, leaving him embarrassed. Curious, he asks why they're there. They came for clothes, but decided to browse the bookstore for cookbooks and a fashion magazine. Their pics look much more grown-up than his hidden manga. Shio notices and asks what he's hiding. He brushes it off, saying he didn't buy anything and has to go. Shio insists they walk back together. He sweats but agrees, trying to keep the manga out of sight. Akari notices him holding something and asks what it is. Flustered, he says it's nothing, which only piques their curiosity. They tease him, wondering if it's something naughty. Both girls lunge at him. Shio holds him while Akari reaches for the manga. It feels just like a scene from chapter 28 of his manga, where the protagonist is pinned down by two childhood friends. Shio grabs something hard, convinced he's hiding something inappropriate. Akari demands he show it. Things get tense and he pleads for them to stop. Then the manga slips from his pocket and falls. Panic sets in. Both girls spot it. How can my childhood friend be this cute? He insists it's not his, claiming a friend asked him to buy it. Shio remembers it's the new volume he hides under his bed. He's even more freaked out, worried she may have seen it before. In a rom-com, this would be a cute moment, but in real life, the girls just look grossed out. They realize he has weird feelings about childhood friends. Silent and exasperated, they head home. He tries to explain he separates fiction from reality, but they remain unimpressed. Just like that, he concludes again that rom-coms never really happen with childhood friends. The scene shifts to someone reading a manga. In it, the guy tells the girl he can't see her as just his childhood friend anymore, and it turns out she's been waiting for him to say that all along. Shio gets completely caught up in the story, even tearing up as she reads. She thinks the newest volume is the best yet, and wishes she could have that kind of love too. She's actually reading it in IU's room while he's fast asleep. Feeling emotional, she decides she wants her own rom-com with him. The next morning, she drops by his house to ask about him, but his mom tells her he's already left. Knowing he's not in any clubs, she dashes out to catch up with him, hoping to flirt a little on the way to school. Before long, she spots him walking sleepily down the road. Sneaking up behind him, she covers his eyes and tells him to guess who it is. As usual, she presses up against him, and he sighs, telling her to let go because he's tired of her surprises. "Let's just stop this," he says. She teases him for being shy, calling him cute, but he brushes her off. Later in class, Shio can't shake her gloomy mood. AU's been acting colder than usual, and she's in a flirty, love-struck mood today. Akari notices right away and tells her she's all ears if it's something serious. Shio admits she's worried because IU feels distant. That catches Akari off guard. She calls him a cocky brat and tells Shio not to worry so much, encouraging her to be more confident. Taking her advice to heart, she decides to go for it. That day, AU's on cleaning duty in the gym storeroom, and Shio starts thinking about recreating that forbidden scene from chapter 18 of Orosa. But she's not aware that the PE teacher told him there's no gym class, so he's sent to clean somewhere else. Meanwhile, Shio waits in the gym for way too long and ends up falling asleep. When she finally wakes up, it's already night, and the door's locked. She takes out her phone, but it's dead. With a sigh, she slumps against the wall, wondering what she's even doing. She replays her last conversation with IU and can't shake the feeling that things might stay this way. It's a depressing thought, and she starts imagining what it'd be like if she really were alone. All she really wants right now is to see IU. Just then, there's a loud bang at the door. She hesitates, but the door opens, and it's IU. He figured she'd be hiding here to scare him. A little flustered, he tells her to head home since her mom's worried. When she asked how he found her, he just shrugs and says it wasn't hard. He's been her childhood friend. Hearing that, she remembers how he used to buy her favorite meatballs when they were kids, and how much she used to love that. He always told her to come to him if she ever felt lonely, reminding her they were childhood buddies. To her, he's always been kind of a hero. She'd been worried he might hate her, but the truth is he's just been cautious ever since reading the latest Orosa volume. As they get ready to leave, the floor is slippery and he accidentally falls right on top of her. Panicking, he asks if she's okay, but she just apologizes. Deep down, though, she's already daydreaming. When he tries to get up, she grabs his arm, cheeks red, and quietly admits she wants to stay like this, just the two of them, for a little longer. It completely throws him off. Meanwhile, Akari's been blowing up his phone, saying she still can't find Shio at the park and is annoyed he isn't replying. Shio pulls him even closer, asking him to stay just a bit longer. It feels like something straight out of a romantic comedy. The two of them inches apart, just one move away from a kiss. But AU doesn't fall for it. As usual, he holds her mouth and tells her not to get carried away. Their moms are both worried, and he muses that they've been friends forever. He just can't see her as anything more. She nods and says she'll go home, but then she grins and adds that she's hungry, hoping it's hamburger day. That's when she realizes she doesn't feel lonely anymore. AU's already told their parents he found her, so there's no rush to leave. He asks if something's bothering her, and she shakes her head, saying she just wanted to spend more time with him, that's all. He's flustered, sweating, totally unsure what's going on. When she goes quiet, he panics a little, suggesting they head home if she's got nothing else to say. He asks why she's being so shy when she's never like that. She looks confused, reminding him he told her to stop clinging to him in public, So she asks, is it okay if she does it now? He freezes for a moment but doesn't stop her. She gently places her hand on his and leans against his shoulder, making him blush like crazy as he tries to process what's happening. She tells him he smells nice and realizes he must have come looking for her right after getting out of the shower. He shrugs and says, of course, he would have looked for her no matter what. He tries convincing himself they're just friends, that this isn't turning into a romance. But then she surprises him again, saying she wants to stay by his side even more now. That leaves him speechless. He came to rescue her, but now she's the one who doesn't want to let go. For the first time, he starts to wonder if this really is turning into a rom-com. Just as she's about to say something important, the lights suddenly flick on. They both turn toward the door, and there's Akari. Ayu freezes, caught off guard while Akari rushes over, tears in her eyes. She wraps Shio in a hug, begging her not to scare her like that again. Then she turns to Lu, reminding him that she told him to call the moment he found Shio, and technically he did. Checking her phone, she realizes he messaged her 20 minutes ago, which leaves him stunned. Shio explains that she got locked in the gym storeroom and was so tired she asked Ayu to let her rest for a bit. Then she inquires if she can use the bathroom before heading home, and he nods. She rushes off, leaving Ayu wondering if she's just been lonely because he's been avoiding her. Maybe that's all it is. Meanwhile, Shio's face is still red as she disappears down the hall. Noticing Ayu's nervous expression, Akari narrows her eyes and asks what they were doing. Her question catches him completely off guard. Then after a pause, she quietly asks if he's got feelings for Shio. He asks her what kind of question that is. Akari says she just wants to know if something's really going on between him and Shio, then asks how he truly feels about her. That's when he drops the big news. He's in love with her. Trying to play it off, he adds that he loves her like family, nothing more. Akari is stunned, snapping at him because that's not what she wanted to hear. He insists nothing could ever happen between them, since they're childhood friends. Just then, Shio walks back in, apologizing for keeping them waiting. Later, when he's home, he thinks Akari's pretty clueless for asking that. He wonders if she really believes people can just fall for their childhood friends. He can't stop thinking about the moment he almost confessed. His heart still flutters, and he keeps wondering if it could have been a real confession. He tells himself it didn't mean anything, that it's all in his head. The next day, Shio's ready for school. As she turns, there Ayu is, blushing like crazy. He greets her, and after some small talk, she tells him to get moving. As they walk side by side, both try to hide their nerves. He can't stop noticing how cute she looks today. Maybe it's the summer uniform. He's still overthinking that almost confession, wishing he had proof of what she really felt. Our lad's about to ask her what she meant yesterday, but she suddenly says she has somewhere to be and hurries off. He's left flustered, trying to remember her expression. Maybe she really does like him. His mind runs wild, imagining them dating, holding hands, walking home together, doing a couple stuff. But then he sighs, realizing nothing has actually changed. Still, part of him wonders if she wants to try the kind of things they couldn't do as kids. Lost in thought, he starts imagining her flirting with him. That's when Akari suddenly appears, snapping him out of it. He instantly blushes. She asks what he's mumbling about, and when she hears rom-com, she glares and says it's gross that he's looking at her like she's some manga character. He brings up the question she asked yesterday and wonders if she's curious about what's going on between him and Shio. But before he can finish, she swings her bag at him, yelling for him not to get the wrong idea. He's totally thrown by her sundry attitude. As he's staring at her, trying to process everything, it hits him. Maybe childhood friend rom-coms really can happen after all. Meanwhile, Shio's in the restroom, feeling down. She's sure even Ayu can tell she's not herself. Still, she's excited, wanting to know what he really thinks of her. She wonders if he even has a choice in how he feels. Either way, she knows things can't stay the same between them anymore. Thinking about it, she realizes change can be pretty scary. Akari walks in and spots Shio. Shio greets her, and Akari asks what's wrong since she doesn't look so good. Playfully, Akari teases her, asking if she's been losing sleep overthinking about Ayu. When Shio reacts, Akari freezes, realizing what she just said. Things get awkward when Shio responds with excitement, leaving Akari flustered. Finally, Akari blurts out and asks if something happened at the gym. Outside, Ayu scratches his head, realizing he probably should have spoken up sooner. Then he hears Akari asking Shio if she's dating him. He freezes. It's clearly about him. He panics, thinking they're arguing over him like in a rom-com, and rushes over, shouting for them not to fight because of him. To his surprise, Shio stays calm. She says there's no way she and Ayu could ever be a couple. They're childhood friends. Then she pulls out a rom-com he loves and reminds him she once teased him about it. Laughing, she says it's ridiculous to think childhood friend romances ever work out. Outside the door, he starts lightly banging his head in frustration before running off. Shio chases after him, but he insists he figured everything out already. Then he bolts again, shouting that rom-coms just don't happen between childhood friends. Shio slows down, feeling bad, wondering when things started to change between them. Akari walks off too, embarrassed by the whole situation. That night, Akari's soaking in the bathtub, still fuming. She can't believe she can't get over what he said, that he never thought a rom-com could actually happen in real life. It really gets under her skin. As she relaxes, she starts daydreaming and wonders if he even remembers that promise from when they were kids. Suddenly, the bathroom door swings open. It's IU. Akari glances over and is shocked. She screams, cursing him out, and slaps him so hard his face is red. Turns out he just needed to borrow the bathroom since his house is under repair. Akari's mom forgot to warn him, so he walked right in. Later, she asks if he's taken a bath, suggesting he head home. But Shio and her mom are there too, bringing food over so everyone ends up gathered in one place. The neighbors are chatting and laughing. Shio tries to make small talk, offering him Coke or coffee, but he politely declines. Akari sits off to the side, quiet and tense. After a while, she slips outside to the terrace and sits alone. AU notices and follows her, asking if she's bored. She says no, but he points out she looks upset. She mutters that she just doesn't want to be near a peeping Tom. He apologizes, but she starts teasing him. He takes her seriously and actually starts unbuttoning his shirt, making her jump. Laughing awkwardly, she says she's not mad anymore and tells him to leave her alone. But he knows if he does, she'll only get angrier. So he asks what's really wrong, reminding her how she used to cry and beg him not to leave her side when they were kids. She grabs him by the shirt and asks when he was last genuinely surprised. He asks if she remembers the promise he made to her. They stare at each other, nervous. He insists there's no way he could have forgotten. She's shocked. He recalls promising not to leave her alone in the bathroom at night and asks if that's right. She bursts out laughing, smacking him lightly on the arm. Then it hits her. When she was little, her kitten had died, and she cried for days. Back then, he'd promised to be there for her so she'd never feel lonely again. Remembering that, she starts to wonder if he meant it even now. He admits he doesn't really remember much, but he repeats that he'll always be there for her. His words send a chill through both of them. He asks if that's the promise she was talking about, and she nods, smiling softly. Then, out of nowhere, she asks when he's going to make her his bride. It catches him completely off guard. Blushing, he asks what she just said, but she plays it off as a joke. He tells her to stop messing around, and that's when Akari reappears. Shio invites her to come drink with them. AU asks if she's actually drinking, but she admits it's just water. He tries to calm down, but Akari's still flustered, thinking she shouldn't have said that. She notices his face is redder than hers, but he just looks away, pretending to be cool. Suddenly, Akari pulls him into a quick hug, then steps back, calling him an idiot before heading inside with a smile. He stammers, calling her the real idiot, his heart racing the whole time. On a random day off from school, our guy's just chilling in the park, thinking it's nice to enjoy some peace since life's been pretty crazy lately. A few kids are messing around nearby and he hears someone say, "When are you gonna make me your wife?" It's funny because it's just kids making big promises about love. He can't help but feel a bit out of place, wondering why he's the only one really aware of how things are. As he grumbles about childhood friends being a hassle, one girl overhears him and looks kind of puzzled. When he glances up, he sees that she's staring at him all weird. He asks if something's up or if he's got something on his face. They start walking together and out of nowhere, she gently grabs his face. He starts sweating, freaking out about what she wants. Still, there's something about her that feels familiar. Then she gets super excited and says she knew it was him. He can't contain his excitement and realizes she's playing around with him. That's when he remembers her name, Runako. It hits him hard, and he asks what's going on. While they're goofing off and spinning around, she ends up getting dizzy. When they finally get home, she dashes over to his mom and excitedly points out that she's back after 5 years. Auntie welcomes Runa-chan, who is about to start high school. She confirms that she is already transferred from her middle school. He then asks if she's going to live nearby, and his mom hesitates, revealing she's going to live here. He confirms if she's really going to live there, and Yonosuke's mom replies, "Yeah, just until spring." Teasing him a bit, she jokes that she'll be imposing on him. Runako used to live close by until she moved away 5 years ago. She's a year younger and kind of like a little sister to them, plus a childhood friend. She's a bit of a klutz, but he can't help thinking that living together is going to be like a rom-com. She cutely calls out to him with her plushie in hand, saying she can't sleep without it, so she brought it along. Suddenly, he realizes this might not be the rom-com he imagined. He wishes his mom had given him a heads up about this earlier. If she had, he would have tidied his room. Still, he thinks it's pretty cool that she's moving out for herself. She's super excited about living together. The way she laughs all the time makes his heart race, and he's just trying to convince himself it's only nerves. But out of nowhere, just like always, she trips. And right before she hits the ground, our guy swoops in to catch her, holding her close. He checks to see if she's alright, which totally catches her off guard. He reassures her that he's got the tough stuff covered. After they finish setting up the room, she starts feeling all blushy. She calls out to him and suddenly drops the bombshell that she likes him. It throws him for a loop, but he plays it cool and gives her a gentle pat on the head, appreciating her courage. Just when she's about to say more, Akari and Shio burst in, excited to welcome her back. Runako gets super pumped and remembers them. She instantly notices Shio's curves and all the stylish stuff Akari has going on. Runako can't help checking both of them out from all angles, especially Shio's impressive assets. Our guy is just chilling in the bathroom. Runako can't believe how cute the two of them have gotten. She calls out to them, excited to share something, then drops a bombshell. She likes our guy a lot. That totally catches both Shio and Akari off guard for a moment. But they play it cool and chuckle, knowing she's always had a soft spot for him since childhood. Then Runako goes on about wanting to do some pervy stuff with him, which leaves Akari and Shio completely shocked. Our guide jumps out of the bath and tells Runako the bathroom's free now. She quickly makes an excuse to both Akari and Shio, saying he's calling her, leaving them even more surprised. Runako is chilling in the shower and the other two girls can't stop thinking about how into our guy she really is. Runako then knocks on his room and he asks what's going on. She asks if she can come in. That's when both Akari and Shio jump in, excitedly saying she should totally come in. Runako is hyped to see them. They all start giggling and having a good time. Our guy wants to know why the girls are hanging out in his room. The girls tell him to relax, they can chat like they used to. The girls are all in for it, but first, Runako wants to dry her hair. Shio thinks it's lucky they showed up first, otherwise she probably wouldn't have knocked. Meanwhile, Akari thinks Runako's moves are tough to figure out, and worries about what might happen if she leaves her alone with AU. Akari and Shio share a quick look, but try to act chill. Runako suddenly calls out to him and hops onto his lap, asking him to dry her hair. He's unsure, but she says it's been a while and she just wants some pampering from him. When Akari and Shio see this, they freak out and immediately pull Runako back, insisting they'll handle her hair instead. They start drying it, letting out a sigh of relief as they do. Next, they have Runako sit with them, and our guy thinks it's all good as long as the girls keep her company. He feels a little bad for getting flustered over Runako since he's always seen himself as her older brother, and she used to hate when he acted like that. But then, he gets completely thrown off when someone starts rubbing her foot against his. It's actually Runako being all sneaky under the table. Meanwhile, Shio and Akari are trying to chat with her. Our guy's totally freaking out that she's doing this right in front of them. He wants her to stop, but out of nowhere, Runako bursts out laughing and tells him to knock it off because it tickles. Akari snaps at him, asking what he's doing, but it turns out it's all Runako's foot causing the chaos. Shio can't believe how sneaky that move was. Out of nowhere, Runako remembers something and heads over to Oni-chan, asking if he can help her study since she's stressing about the upcoming exams. Akari jumps in, insisting her big sis can handle it. She tells Runako to chill and let them take care of it, claiming they've really improved over the past 5 years. Meanwhile, our guy's totally confused about why everyone is getting so close. On the flip side, Akari and Shio dive right into helping Runako study. But really, she has edged herself into the perfect spot next to our guy, who's losing it over the whole chaotic situation. She drops another bombshell, saying she loves him like crazy. That leaves both Shio and Akari completely shocked. Our guy's flustered but appreciates it, and just when things start to heat up, Runako calls out to him in a flirty voice. She shuts her eyes and leans in, ready to kiss him. She gets on top of him, inches away from his lips. But then, bam, she hits her head on the floor. Our guy just sits there, stunned and sweating, realizing she's out cold. Akari and Shio can't believe it. They thought she was really going to kiss him and start wondering if that was her big confession or not. He is totally at a loss with Runako throwing a tantrum like a spoiled brat, so he decides to take her back to her room. As the night rolls on, Shio feels worn out, like they've both got a pesky little sister to babysit. Meanwhile, Runako is knocked out cold, dreaming away. Shio is worried that if she plays it cool, IU and Runako might end up in some awkward situations, and she can't let that happen. Akari believes it's odd how easily Runako said she loves him, but she sees them more like siblings and wonders if everything's alright. On the other hand, our guy is trying hard to chill out, convincing himself that Runako is just a childhood friend and he's really just her Oni-chan. Meanwhile, in her sleep, Runako mumbles that he is super pervy.